Welcome back to Giant Freakin' Robot. With the arrival of Star Wars: The Acolyte, it's time to stop ignoring it and face up to the deeply messed up truth behind the Jedi Order. They bill themselves as an organization dedicated to peace and safety, but in reality that has nothing to do with their true mission. The Jedi Order is actually a massive child trafficking network designed to kidnap small children, groom them, and hand them over to similarly brainwashed adults starved for love and affection. This isn't an opinion, it's a simple fact of the universe George Lucas has created. The franchise has managed to gloss over it, mostly because the best of Star Wars happens in a time where the Jedi Order has already been destroyed and exists in the past. But Star Wars: The Acolyte is set during the Jedi Order's golden age, and whether it means to or not, it can't help but highlight how truly evil the organization is. The Jedi operate behind a cloak of law and order, but that's a lie. The Jedi are perfectly willing to allow all sorts of crime and villainy, as long as it doesn't bother them. We've seen examples of this before in other Star Wars iterations, but The Acolyte makes it crystal clear. The show's second episode ends with a Wookiee Jedi approaching his home on a planet we're told is a safe and restful retreat where nice people go to relax. The Wookiee Jedi finds two thieves plotting to rob him and everyone else on the planet. Rather than grabbing them and arresting them before they can continue their thievery, he simply roars at them until they go away. With his personal belongings protected, the Wookiee Jedi no longer cares what they do next. He ambles into his house, presumably to take a nap. The thieves run off to rob someone else, and since that someone else isn't him, our heroic Jedi doesn't care. On another planet, a group of Jedi encounter a man who admits to selling illegal arms to the Hutts.
Yeah, I started out gun running for the Hutts. Now I supply people like her with what they need.
They also have proof that he knowingly sells poison to criminals looking to kill innocents. But once he gives the Jedi the information they want, they let him go.
If you cooperate, we will consider letting you go with a warning.
They don't care how many weapons he sells or how many people he poisons. They got what they want out of him, and he's free to go on murdering. It's a pattern seen throughout the Star Wars universe. In The Acolyte, we learn that during the good old days of the Republic, every major planet has a Jedi assigned to it. This one, for instance, is assigned to this dingy, terrible, crime-ridden planet. Does she do anything to clean it up? Does she start arresting criminals? It doesn't seem like it. When we first encounter her, she's hanging out with a bunch of local mobsters having a nice lunch. When someone starts beating up her friends, right in front of her, she sits and does nothing. It's only when she, personally, is attacked that she actually gets up and tries to stop the intruder. So the Jedi's claim that they exist to uphold law and order is total BS. If that's not what they are about, what do they exist for? The answer is in their recruiting practices, which revolve entirely around the abduction of small children. Jedi gain new members by finding preschoolers with force powers. When they find them, they take those children from their parents and brainwash them into forgetting everyone they love. They teach them total devotion to the Jedi Order, while at the same time pressuring them into avoiding any new attachment to anyone or anything else outside the Order. An organization with those kinds of dictates is normally called a cult. Somehow no one seems to mind it in the Star Wars universe. So when those brainwashed, kidnapped children become teenagers, they are creepily assigned to an adult who they're required to call master. They follow that master's orders without question, which results in a universe full of creepy old dudes in robes living with teenage girls who aren't allowed to care about anyone except the old guy they are forced to live with.
Yod, put your clothes on.
Eventually those teenagers grow up, and when their master is done with them, they're assigned their own teenager to use, and the cycle continues.
I will train Anakin.
The Jedi Order is a child trafficking cult, disguised as a police force.
There's something about this boy.
They make a lot of noise about rules, but only enforce those rules when it benefits them. Here's what one master had to say when confronted with the notion that they may be prosecuting an innocent victim.
If it were to become public that a former Jedi killed one of our own,
Our political enemies could use it against us.
discretion is important. Our justice swift, an example made.
When there's a threat to the Jedi Order, all notions of justice and fairness are thrown out the window in favor of protecting the Jedi organization and its pipeline of kidnapped young children. The Jedi Order is evil. They brainwash children to forget their parents. They teach them not to care, not to love. They teach them all out devotion to the state, and then they use them for purposes which we're probably better off not imagining. This, by the way, is also the plot of George Orwell's 1984. You love the Jedi because the Jedi you see on screen are always the ones who buck the order. Luke Skywalker was never part of it, because it was gone before he was born. Obi-Wan was a rebel, who flaunted their strange rules to do what he thought was right. And in Star Wars The Acolyte, the show's hero Jedi Master is pushing Jedi Order boundaries and breaking rules to protect someone he cares about. Someone he has an attachment to, in violation of the Order's mandate that he should care about no one.
There must be some mistake.
You love the heroes of Star Wars because in their own way, they hate the Jedi Order as much as we should. Maybe Darth Vader had it right all along. This has been Giant Freakin' Robots.